Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of Ringer Tailgate. I'm your host, Tate Frazier, and as always, I am joined by Van Lathan and Joel Anderson. I'll start here, Van. Have you ever heard the term ROMO before? You've heard FOMO. Have you ever heard ROMO?
No, what's that?
It's I just heard this. Killian Murphy. It's relief of missing out. And it's called
Oh,
ROMO. And I have the relief of missing out on the Arch Manning discourse. There is I think I have ROMO at this point. I'm glad I'm not keeping up with this, not watching the games. Joel, what about you? Are you caught up in the Arch Manning conversations right now? Do you have ROMO or do you have FOMO?
I probably have Romo. I don't care about making anything. When
Yeah.
I was young, I would be excited about missing a party. I'd be like, damn, I wouldn't have had a good time at that. So yeah, I'm more of a Romo guy. But yeah, as far as Arch Manning though, I kind of want to hear it all. I want every conspiracy theory that I can hear.
Yeah.
Message board stuff, whatever people think is going on.
I love that.
can I
And
be honest with you though?
yeah, please.
Tate, if you have Romo about Arch Manning, that's one thing. I
Mhm.
get it. I have Romo about stuff. I have Romo about like Burning Man. Like I see
Yeah.
people go
Yeah.
to Burning Man, and I'm like, that's not. I don't want to go to Burning Man, like mud all over you, you're in a tractor trailer, fentanyl. I don't want to do that.
Emma
But
Watson, though.
How about
it,
Coachella? Have you ever been to Coachella, Van?
I've been to Coachella before, and that's like just one thing. You do it, it's fine, whatever. Now
It's a
it's
one and
different.
done.
But
Yeah.
this is my thing with Arch Manning. I think some of the Romo that other people are having with Arch Manning is copping out. They're copping out. Not you, Tate, but
Okay.
other
Thank
people are
you.
copping out. I want everyone in college football to do something. Actually, clip this. This is a clip. This is a pre-clip. This is a pre-clipper. All right. This prop clipping, as I've heard it described on other shows as they talk to Sam Cedar or whomever. Hold experts accountable. HEO. Hold experts. Did I say O? I mean A. HEA. Hold experts accountable.
Okay.
These
Damn
experts
it.
that
How
told
about head?
you.
How about his head? Hold
Yeah,
experts
you really have
accountable.
something going
Damn
there.
it.
I thought you were trying to do hoe.
Yeah,
at
hold
first.
experts accountable, damn it. That's good. Hold
Yeah.
them accountable. These are the people that told you Arch Manning was going to be the Heisman #1. These are the people that told you Clemson was unstoppable, Alabama was going to win the championship. All of these people, hold your experts accountable. That's all I'm saying. Don't flame them up. We're a nice show here at Ringer Tailgate, but hold them accountable because they just be saying stuff sometimes.
And we got a good show today. We got to first thank our presenting sponsor. We got reactions, we got big questions, we got firings, and of course, we got Big Van on campus. So, again, this is Ringer Tailgate. Let's have some fun today. This is Ringer Tailgate presented by FanDuel, and college football Saturdays are already delivering. Every game means something right now. Ranking shift, upsets hit, and the best place to stay on top of it all. FanDuel. Whether you're riding a noon kickoff or betting the late games, FanDuel lets you bet it your way. Same game parlays, live betting, player props, alt lines, whatever your angle is, it lives in the app. So if you're watching all the action, bet on it now with FanDuel. Download the app and head to FanDuel.com/tailgate and make every Saturday count. The Ringer is committed to responsible gaming. Please visit rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available and listen to the end of the episode for additional details. All right, let's get into it. One big reaction. There was a lot of things that happened in college football from Thursday all the way down to late on Saturday night. Not Pac-12 after dark at this point, but we got, West Coast football, things to talk about. Van, I'm going to start with you. One big reaction from the weekend. We heard from us on Saturday. Some things have happened since you last heard from us. What do you got to get off your chest?
Notre Dame might be fucked.
Right.
That's my one big reaction. And I'm not talking about the fact that their road to the playoff doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's going to happen with the remaining teams that they have left on their schedule. The only ranked team as of yet, I think they have on as of now, should I say, is USC. They have some teams that are playing well left to play. So I'm not talking about whether or not if Notre Dame rolls off 10 in a row, whether or not they'll make the playoff. That'll be up for the committee to decide, whatever. I'm talking about the fact that Notre Dame's defense up front and on the back end doesn't look like they'll win those 10 games. We're talking about a team that the strength of the team was the secondary. The strength of the team was the discipline. The strength of the team was how well coached they were. They played nasty and with a lot physical and with a lot of precision. And if you watch the Texas A&M game, they did not play like that. They did not play nasty. They did not play physical. They didn't play with a ton of precision. They were getting beat over the top by the fantastic wideouts and guys on the outside that Texas A&M has. They were making costly penalties. They were fucking up on special teams. They looked like a team that could go out there and put a good product on the field and then still lose the game at home. And by the way, this is the second one. This is them going out and playing pretty good against Miami and losing that game. Then you have people going, Notre Dame lost to two good teams. They did, but it doesn't matter how good the teams you lost to are. What matters is whether or not you are a good enough team to beat good teams. And so far, Notre Dame has not shown themselves to be a good enough team to beat good teams. So I'm looking at them with the rest. This might be a lost season in South Bend.
Man.
Joel, jump in on this.
That's kind of
that
tough.
reaction.
I mean, because we want teams to challenge themselves in the non-conference part of the schedule, right? Like, that's been the whole thing. We're tired of seeing them play East Tennessee State. Oh, man, I don't want to see them play Central Michigan. And then they step up, play those games, lose them by a combined 5 points. If they don't botch that snap on that PAT, we not even be talking about this. We'd be like, well, man, Notre Dame got through that tough 2-game stretches 1-1. But just because Tyler Buckner had Butterfingers, all of a sudden, Notre Dame is in a bad situation. I saw people saying that they shouldn't even be ranked. And I'm like, I think people are doing this absolutely wrong. If Miami is the third best team in the country and Notre Dame was right there with them till the very end, it took a field goal to beat them. How could you... I mean, what all of a sudden makes them 23 spots worse than Miami? So that's my thought on this is that, they lost those 2 games. You don't judge teams by their losses, but sometimes you do, right? Sometimes you have no choice. And I also have a real hard time believing a 10-2 Notre Dame, assuming they win those games. And Van says he thought they looked soft on defense. The way I look at it, I was like, oh, man, A&M kind of surprised the hell out of me. But if Notre Dame wins those 10 games and we get to the end of the season, bro, last year Indiana got in, man. Last year SMU got in.
Right.
I gotta think that if Notre Dame puts it up, that they're gonna get in.
Yeah. So here's the deal. You said you want teams to take tough tests in the non-conference. They want to reward them for that. What conference is Notre Dame in?
I mean, with the ACC.
Okay.
There you go. Right answer.
For all intents and purposes, they play an ACC schedule.
So what I'm telling you is these are their conference games. The tough games on Notre Dame's schedule, those are their conference games.
And Boise State was supposed to be a ranked game that they lose to USF, so that knocks it down a peg, right? USC doesn't look like USC.
So the big-time conference tests, the teams where things are supposed to get ratcheted up, that is when Notre Dame plays at Texas A&M. That is when Notre Dame plays at Miami. That is their opportunity to show to the country that they are a good football team. Now, for other teams, it's going to come in the conference. Sometimes it comes out of conference. Sometimes you get a Texas Ohio State. Sometimes you get these big matchups that set the temperature for the season and for the rest of the season. But most of the times it comes in conference, right? Most of the times it comes in a rivalry game where the two teams have a tremendous amount of familiarity between one another. Most of the times it comes in these incestuous relationships of territory and regionality that we get inside of the conference. But if you're Notre Dame, that's not when it comes. It comes when you decide to schedule Texas A&M, when you decide to schedule Miami. That's when you show how good you are. And let's not act like this is the Catholic school of the poor. This is the team that was in the national championship game last year, bringing back a tremendous amount of talent on defense, bringing back the best backfield in the nation, and they've lost twice. And in this game, the defense, the vaunted Notre Dame defense, gave up 488 yards of total offense. 488 yards of total offense. I'm telling you right now that don't matter, 10 games, whatever, there are problems in South Bend with this team and their ability to finish, A, and B, to stop people. And if they don't have that type of defense, a dominating defense and a punishing running game, then they're not going to be able to win because they cannot rely on their brand new starter quarterback. They just can't.
I mean, okay, they don't have a conference rival, right? Like they don't have what Georgia has with Florida or whatever. USC, they play every year. For all intents and purposes, I think of that as like that's their big midseason rivalry game. USC tends to be pretty good. If they win that game and they'll be in an atmosphere where people probably should be hyped up, that'll be a pretty nice win, assuming they win that game. They got to play at Arkansas. Arkansas is not bad. They got a pretty good offense. That'll be a good challenge for them.
Offense
is
good.
Yeah. So I just think, and also by the end of the year, people will look and say, oh man, those 2 games that Notre Dame lost at the beginning of the year, the starting quarterback had never started any games before. And he played he played on the all Madden level.
You're doing revisionist history in the future. I like this.
Yeah,
I
like
like
this.
the propaganda.
The cope is crazy.
Yeah,
you're assuming they're going to win all the rest of their games. They
with a little bit of revisionist history.
I'm just saying people are going to be like, man, remember CJ Carr? We didn't even know who he was. He was almost beat out by Kenny Minchie in the offseason. And they were still trying to figure it out. And so people are going to look at that and say, oh yeah, man, I think that we, given who they played and how they played in those games, they acquitted themselves well, and they'll be 10-2 at the end of the year. Man, I'm just rooting for my brother Marcus Freeman, man.
Yeah, 2 things that can't help. We did have the missed holding call, right? That everybody saw after the game, which was kind of an egregious mishold on the game-winning play. But again, these things happen in pretty much almost every play. You see something along those lines. But again, that can help with the coping and the revisionist history, right? One bad call kind of doesn't go their way. Also, Chris Ash, the defensive coordinator, by all intents and purposes, he's getting dialed back. Marcus Freeman said he's going to take over some more of the play calling. He said he's not going to hit the panic button. So there is a sell there, Van, where you can say this is a different team than the team we saw in the first 2 weeks.
Look, if you're asking me, if you're asking me whether or not Notre Dame can play better than what they did at Texas A&M, of course they can play better. They certainly can play better. All right, they can play better. What I'm saying is they found ways to lose that game on their field at home, right? They found ways to lose that game. That's troubling. That's concerning. Now, maybe 5 weeks from now, they are out of that. Marcus Freeman has taken over more of the play calling, which, by the way, a head coach taking over the defensive calls, that signals dysfunction in and of itself, because now you're adding more to the plate of the head coach. There's people in Gainesville right now begging for Billy Napier to not be the play caller in Florida, because maybe Billy Napier is not the type of guy that can run an entire program and then call the plays on Saturday. So with Marcus Freeman doing all of that, you wonder how that stresses the rest of the game plan, the preparation during the week, overall what it is that they're doing. That's a distress signal right there that maybe that's the wrong hire. Who knows? But what I'm saying is, if you are looking at Notre Dame starting 0-2, not even getting a split, and we're going to make Texas A&M out to be a national powerhouse, and they certainly play like a really good team, But it's not as if Georgia rolled in to South Bend. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. What happened was Notre Dame didn't have an answer for Marcel Reed at quarterback, and they got fucked over the whole night, and they played just poorly enough to lose, and they got to shape up, or they're going to be shipped out. They're going to be shipped out to playoff no man's land. That's all I'm saying.
First fact here, Notre Dame, just the 6th team to be ranked in the top 25 in AP poll history after starting the season 0-2. Last time it happened, Michigan in 1988, Auburn in 84, SMU in 1958, Missouri in 1949, and Purdue in 1948. So Notre Dame, even though they're not playing good football, they are making history. One big reaction. What'd you see, Joel?
Well, it's funny we were talking about Texas A&M. Because Van was kind of like, it ain't Georgia. And that's kind of funny because that is the Texas A&M story. I'm from Texas, as people know, and A&M is always just kind of a joke. Like, it's the little brother school compared to Texas, and anybody who has seen, there's one way of looking at the scene at Kyle Field is like, wow, that is the majesty of college football. Look how cool that it looks in the scene and
That
how
means
they're
you're in the
into the game
cult.
they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other part is like, yeah, that shit looks kind of weird, you know? Yeah. So people can look at it that way. So people always
The
just
Yale
kinda,
leaders, right?
the
That's the
Yale
big
leaders
thing.
and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Yeah, like you kind of got to be of the culture to understand. It's not for everybody, right? But
It's not for people with rhythm. Yeah.
not certainly not for people who are rhythm. Although, man, look, bro, they used to have the Southwest Black Leadership Conference. I'm sure that's illegal in Texas now. But man, that thing used to go down, man. When I would go down there in college. Anyway, the point is that A&M is kind of like its own thing. Like it's just a very like, you know, they're the Dwight Schrutes of Texas college football, and they've only rarely been as good as they're supposed to be. But for right now, after that game against Notre Dame, man, I think at least in the polls, they should be ranked ahead of Texas. What has Texas done better than A&M so far this year? Nothing, right? They've looked bad in every game they've played this year. And A&M at least went on the road, handled business. They've blown out the teams in all the other games. I mean, you know, I kind of feel like it's A&M's time for the spotlight. And the one thing I was thinking about, so A&M is always like the program that comes up short. Like nobody ever, you know, it's sort of the sleeping giant that never has really woken up. But I was thinking about Notre Dame goes up 40-34, a little under 3 minutes to go. On the ensuing kickoff, Terry Bussey, that's how you say it, Bussey. I had to make sure I say it. Bussey. Terry Bussey takes the kickoff back for a touchdown. And it's like, oh shit, A&M's gonna do it. And gets called back for holding, man. And that could have been a crushing moment. That could have been so dispiriting. And then they get hit with consecutive false start penalties during this time. Marcel Reed throws 4 consecutive incompletions on that drive before throwing that game-time TD on 4th down. It was a show of like resilience and mental toughness that folks haven't seen in A&M in such a long time, man. Like this is it felt like something that like we have just not seen out of Texas A&M. The thing is, they've always got the talent. They've got the proximity to this. The boosters have more money than anybody in the world. They got a great home field advantage, all this other stuff, and they've never lived up to it. But I feel like now Mike Elko, the head coach, a no-nonsense guy, I just feel like that was a sign that things are changing at A&M. It may not hold, but at least for right now, God damn, can they not be ranked ahead of Texas? I mean, I just feel like they deserve that at least for this week.
Yeah, I think best team in Texas is a good moniker for that group. And Mike Elko, red in the face, yelling at the defense. Like, it did feel like there was just a different tenor to that group where he was like, we demand excellence from you guys, especially defensively. And they answered the bell. So, I mean, we've seen A&M be good, but we, again, have tried to see, we want to see them get over the hump to that next level. This felt like a big game. Van, your thoughts on A&M? Do you believe? Do you buy in?
I saw some things from them that I didn't expect. Number one, I saw Marcel Reed. Look, he had a good game. Statistically, it was an interesting game because he was like 17 of 37. So he wasn't a high percentage passer, but he missed some throws. If you looked at the game from the Notre Dame side of it, it could have been worse. There were guys free in the Notre Dame backfield that Reed missed. And, you know, he's still finding his way as a young quarterback. And I suspect that as the season goes on, he'll make more of those throws and you'll see him complete passes at a higher percentage. However, I'll say this. He stayed in the pocket a lot. When they tortured LSU last year, it was because LSU did not have an answer for Marcel Reed moving around and gaining first downs and moving the sticks with his legs. I saw so many times when I was watching the game that there were opportunities for him to run, and it seemed as if he was making a concerted effort to beat Notre Dame from the pocket. And you know what that says to me? He believes in his scheme, in his arm, and he trusts what he's seeing in front of him. Did he always make the throw? No. But he knew where the ball was supposed to go. He felt comfortable in the pocket, partly because Notre Dame was getting no type of pass rush on him in so many of the plays. That's why I'm like, run. But he's staying there and waiting for things to develop. He's comfortable. in his offense. He knows what he's supposed to do, even if if he can't do it at a high percentage and be 60, 65% passer yet right now. So all I'm saying is this. I look at him and I see almost the opposite of what I'm seeing from Arch Manning right now. I'm seeing somebody who trusts themselves, trusts their scheme, trusts their receivers to get open, trusts their protection, and kind of believes that has a lot to do with what Mike Elko has done with that team, with the coaching of that team, but it also has a lot to do with the maturation process that all of these players have gone through. Texas A&M is dangerous.
Yeah, like this group, like this team, and they looked really good at Notre Dame. My one big reaction, maybe this isn't the quarterback-rich season like we thought it was. I want to read to you guys Heisman Trophy odds. This is from July this year, courtesy of FanDuel. Arch Manning is the favorite, plus 700. Garrett Nussmeier right behind him, plus 800. Cade Klubnik, plus 900. Drew Aller, plus 1,400. Julian Sayin, plus 1,500. DJ Lagway, plus 1,900. Lenoris Sellers, plus 1,900. Now, I give you those lists of guys. Everybody was talking about how great this class was. And there have been some great quarterbacks that we've seen. Carson Beck is playing great. Dante Moore is playing some good football, right? CJ Carr, you mentioned he's had some good moments. Haynes King. There has been some good football that we've seen from the quarterback position. But based on the favorites going into the season and based on what we've seen so far, I think we've been sold a bill of goods. Dare I say, hold experts accountable, damn it. Head. Van, should we hold them accountable? And what are your thoughts on the quarterback so far?
Well, we should hold them accountable for things that they should have been able to see. Now, there are a couple of quarterbacks in there that I do believe are dealing with some injuries. I believe that DJ Lagway is not 100%. I'm not a quarterback guru, so I'm not here to tell you guys that anybody was right or wrong about DJ Lagway. If you look at Garrett Nussmeier, he's dealing with a torso injury. Brian Kelly said as much. And it's not just that there's so many things wrong with the LSU offense. We could do a whole show just on that. So that is not the sole reason that offense isn't scoring. But if you look at some of the throws that Nuss has made, even completed, there's a dig route. Shout out to Carter on Power Hour LSU, one of my film study shows. I watch all the films. I watch Aaron Murray. I watch all the film study shows. There's a dig that I think either to Xavion, I think it was to Xavion Thomas, that Nuss throws, and you can see that the ball's dying on him a little bit, even though he completes the pass. So there's an injury there. People are wondering what's wrong with him, and Brian Kelly finally comes clean. Nuss has an injury. But there's just other guys that people missed on. They just missed. Cade Klubnik, don't know what's going on. Can't explain it. Don't know what's happening with Cade Klubnik.
He was never as good. He was never as good as everybody said he was. That's me.
Drew Aller hasn't really showed anything. Like, there's so many of these guys that weren't supposed to be quarterbacks that were supposed to be the linchpins of an historic quarterback draft that we're just not seeing anything from. And it makes you wonder, what did people see that is not taking place on the field right now? Like with Arch, generational talent, bona fide number one, the best that we've ever seen, runs it like Vic, throws it like Peyton. Like, what did people see that we're not seeing right now? It's baffling to the mind.
I agree with what Van is saying, but I also think again, nobody knows what's going on with Arch right now. Like, it could be physical, it could be mental, whatever. But I do think that if Arch had somehow played anywhere close to expectations, we probably wouldn't be so focused on how uninspiring the rest of this class is. Because I think, you know how at the end of every year, quarterbacks sort of get elevated. Like at this time, at the end of December the previous year, Shedeur Sanders was a first-round draft pick, projected first-round draft pick. And then they played it out, and it didn't quite end up that way. And so I think that, like, this class is all quarterbacks always get elevated, especially when people put together mock drafts or whatever, because they don't know everybody, right? They don't know about David Bailey, defensive tackle, defensive end at Texas Tech, or, you know, whatever. Like, they're not there are some
A lot
guys
of
that are on the
minutia,
radar.
right?
Yeah, but they're just like, they haven't had a chance to kind of look through everybody, but they know that they can see the best quarterbacks. They know the teams overvalue quarterbacks for the most part when the draft gets started. And then that's kind of how the expectations get started. And that's the thing that clearly happened with Arch Manning. They said, well, he's got the pedigree. He's going to have Coach Sark dialing it up for him. He's going to have a supporting cast, all this stuff. He's going to live up to expectations, but like, that's just not what happened. And that tends to happen more than we even think. There's always like, guys that are first round sure bets coming in and they don't live up to that. So I think that that's it. But I mean, man, if you kind of look down beneath the surface a little bit, there've been other quarterbacks that are really good. JKS at Cal is Jaren. I'm going to try to say it. Jaren Kiawe Sagapotele. Okay. I think that was close. I think I got it. Like him at Cal, he's amazing, right?
He's got a cannon.
Yeah, got a cannon. Rocco Bector's been pretty solid. Ty Simpson is much
Diego
better than
Pavia, right?
Diego
There's
Pavia.
been guys.
Taylor Green at Arkansas. So, like, I think we're going to see more from
Ty
those
Simpson
guys.
looked good this past weekend, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. Ty
Simpson.
Yeah. Ty Simpson's amazing, man. He looks really good. John Mateer is living up to expectations. So I think that, as the season comes along, it'll play itself out. But, we're always kind of like floating on the smoke of all that hype at the end, the coming out of the previous year. And so everybody's like, oh man, that guy's going to be pretty good. And then once you start playing, Cade Klubnik looks like Cade Klubnik. Drew Aller looks like Drew Aller. And people just forget until they start playing again.
Start bench cut.
I mean, I will give Cade credit for how he played
man.
them into the playoff last year, and then how he played in the playoff game against Texas. He looked like there was something to build on. Not to cut you off, Tate.
No, I just wanted to do this because I think these three are fascinating. Arch Manning, Cade Klubnik, and our guy DJ Lagway, who obviously had the Jake Delhomme day down there at LSU. Start bench cut fan of those three so far.
Start bench cut, man.
Of those three.
Wait,
Lagway, Manning,
Manning, Klubnik. Based on the eye test, not the stats. Obviously, like the stats would say Lagway has to get benched, or cut, but based on the eye test, what we've seen.
Man,
so far.
you gotta cut DJ. He just threw 5 picks. You have to.
I would cut Arch.
Yeah, I'll cut Arch.
Really?
Yeah.
What has he done?
I think Lagway I would start, and then I would put Klubnik as the bench.
I've seen Lagway be good.
Wait. Hold on for a second. Hold on.
Lagway's still completing 70% of his passes, despite all those five interceptions.
Again, eye test, not stats.
Lagway just cost his team a game.
And it was close.
It was close. He's the reason why they lost.
If Texas had played anybody that could have punched back, if they had played any team besides UTEP, like let's say they had played Baylor that day, they probably lose that game. That's how bad Arch has played. They just didn't play anybody that had the capability of beating them.
Well, they did, and they lost. Okay. So what I'm saying is, like Lagway actually in 2 straight games is the reason his team lost the game.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if 2 straight. I mean,
whoa.
I mean, I didn't think he was that bad against USF. He wasn't great, but again, Tate's question here is about looks and everything else. Like, if we have to take
the eye test,
the eye test or whatever. If I had to bet on a quarterback of that 3, 2 years from now, being a good quarterback, I would definitely put it on Lagway. Klubnik would bench, and then Arch I'll probably cut, man.
I'm with you.
So I'd have to start Klubnik because of the 3 quarterbacks, he is the only one that's accomplished anything, guys. Of the 3 quarterbacks, one of them has been in the playoff. One of them has been in the playoff and put together a good season, guys, sent him into the playoff. One guy. So if you're going to have to start a guy, you know that in the right situation, Klubnik can quarterback a team in the playoffs because Klubnik has done it. The other 2 guys haven't done it, haven't gotten nowhere close. One of them just played his coach into being the offensive coordinator at Jacksonville State next year.
Klubnik can't beat nobody he wasn't supposed to beat. Klubnik hasn't beat anybody.
All I'm saying, and what I'm saying is, I'm telling you right now that Lagway, right now, in this season, hadn't beaten anybody. Last year, DJ played pretty well down the stretch, for sure, and giving him credit. But what I'm telling you right now is when you got to cash in the chips and get a QB that you know can quarterback your team into the playoffs, there's one guy who's done it and two guys who not only haven't done it, but have looked kind of incompetent. I would give Arch the nod over Lagway right now.
Oh, wow.
You
So
don't think shit of LSU.
Guys,
you don't have no respect
DJ?
for your defense.
Lagway just threw. No, I watched the game. And I watched two things happen in that game. Number one, I'm not giving up on DJ Lagway. You ask me right now. I'm not giving up on DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway can still be a good quarterback. He's obviously talented. But you guys got to look here at some of the things for number one, DJ Lagway, once again, could be hurt, but is not showing any dynamic ability as a runner. DJ Lagway is not trusting what he's seeing. The reads are bad. And towards the end of that game, he was just throwing balls up for grabs, like completely in a game that Florida still was competitive in. The LSU offense has been so putrid. They only scored one offensive touchdown. The other one was a pick six. You know what I mean? Then Lagway was just putting them in good. He lost the game for Florida. He lost the game. So I can't start him right now. I don't know when the next five interception class.
Did you know that DJ Lagway has a better quarterback rating than Cade Klubnik in spite of his 6 interceptions on the season?
That's crazy.
Did you know
what difference does that make?
Well, I'm just saying.
He's turning the stats.
I'm telling you, I'm giving you some data. I'm giving you some data to work with.
Take that for data.
Cade Klubnik. I mean, again, I guess the funny thing is that LSU has these two guys in common. And you've decided to go with Klubnik. Like you thought that Lagway is clearly the worse of the two options.
Yeah,
here.
you've seen them from a competition standpoint. You're
seen
more
them from
scared of Klubnik.
So I have to
more
defer.
Scared of Klubnik.
They've played both defenses and they turned one guy over 5 times. Now, granted, it was in Death Valley at night, but I'm saying it. So you have to consider that. But they've played both defenses, and one guy gave a historically bad performance. Lagway is in hell right now. I could not start DJ Lagway right now. He's in hell right now. Well, I'm not saying he's not going to get out of hell. Right now, he's in hell.
I'm getting him from when he's out of hell. That's the Tate. That is the Tate question here. That's a dilemma, right? Like I'm not taking him for now because hell yeah.
We're just saying you have a team. You have those 3 quarterbacks. Which one are you going to start? Which one are you going to bench? Which one are you going to cut? I think Arch is going to be cut, which is fascinating because, like I said, I read the Heisman Trophy odds. He's plus 700. He was deemed a generational talent, and he looks like the sensible choice to not start, at least for all of us, right? All of us have decided he's not going to start.
No, Arch is not starting. You can't start.
Yeah, which is crazy. Here's the good news. That was bad news for the quarterbacks. Elite receivers are back. Jeremiah Smith had a big week. Hollywood Ryan Williams is back. Chris Brazzell, we talked about him a little bit on Saturday. Cam Coleman had a big touchdown for Auburn. Auburn fans were excited. Mario Craver for Texas A&M was incredible. Casey Concepcion as well. Ryan Wingo even scored a touchdown. Arch finally found somebody that was not Parker Livingston or Livingstone, depending on how you listen to the show. But elite receivers being back, that's good news, right, Joel?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was one of the most exciting parts of the season last year. You know when Ryan Williams took that pass against Georgia in the second half, we caught the ball and kind of pirouetted down the sideline and everything.
Kirby lost his mind. Yeah,
Kirby lost it. Yeah, man. I mean, and Jeremiah, like just watching a freshman do that to people, was incredible. And then I mean, first of all, Chris Brazzell II. I remember watching his daddy play. Man, I mean, that dude, I'm always kind of like, how did he get overlooked before he went to Tennessee? I just like, he was tall, he's fast. I'm just sort of, I want to dig more into that story about how that happened.
Started at Tulane, which is a good place to start. Yeah. A lot of good players from Tulane.
Yeah, I mean, in no disrespect, I mean, Tulane is a very good program, but Chris Brazzell, as you see, he has Tennessee talent. Right? Mm-hmm. What happened there? And Cam Coleman. So yeah, man, I mean, football is always better when the elite receivers are out and doing their thing. Like, and you kind of hope, I feel like always a fun Heisman year is when you get like a receiver in the top 5, right? Where you get somebody there. Like I always feel like that's a fun year. So yeah, but I mean, the thing about it though, is that those guys, they all have pretty decent quarterbacks. I mean, I guess except maybe the exception of Ryan Wingo, but Sion is good. Ty Simpson has looked great. Joey Aguilar, Van's boy is looking good. So yeah, man. I mean, it helps when you guys are coming, when you got somebody throwing to you too. So that's also the other piece of it as well.
Yeah, it's funny. Brazzell, he went up and got some balls that Aguilar just kind of
and
threw up there.
once.
He went up and got some that he threw up there. Look, with Jeremiah Smith, you want to see him cash in on the talent. It's just the package is just too enticing from Jeremiah Smith. The strength, I already did it. You can't do that. That's against the rules.
We can't follow it up.
What's balls?
This is the rule, man. If we're gonna be toxic, we gotta follow the right rules. Once I say pause, you can't go back. And
you added
come
to
get
it,
me.
but that's fine.
I'm just saying, Joel, you can't do that, bro. You can't. That's not fair, dog.
If that's gonna be the rule,
man.
that's fine. That's fine. But you added to it. I just thought that opened it back up. That's fine.
Right. Okay. Point. Okay. So maybe you got a double pause there. If we're gonna be toxic, let's just be toxic.
A double pause is
double
pause.
That's fine.
Double pause. Yeah, but it's good to see these guys because the receiver position, all the talent in the world can get open. You got to have an offense that can get you the ball, and you got to have a quarterback that can get you the ball. So what you hate to see is these guys who can play not have the opportunities because they're in some type of dysfunction from their scheme or from their QB. So particularly Ryan Williams, I know that he plays for Alabama, and I hate everything that Alabama does, but I love watching that kid. I love watching him play. The body control, the burst, the lateral quickness, all of that stuff. The straight line speed. He's fantastic to watch, and it was good to see him come alive.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good weekend for the receivers. Again, much maligned early in the season a little bit, but now the quarterbacks are taking the heat as the receivers are bumping back up. Let's talk about the heat, and we're talking about the hot seat, of course. One big question I'll ask you guys. I'll start with you, Van. Is it fair to fire a coach 3 weeks into the season? Deshaun Foster, Joel warned us, they will fire him, and he did get fired. Brent Pry, Virginia Tech, also fired. Is this fair, Van? Is there enough time, enough of a sample size to make that move?
So I want to start by saying this. I realize that we're talking about human beings now that have lost their jobs. A lot of times in college sports and sports period, coaches are supposed to deliver essentially emotions to us. That's the thing that we sometimes don't get when we're talking about sports or college football specifically. It is actually an emotional delivery system. That's what college football is. The euphoria of the win, the dejection of a loss. And that coach of that team becomes the emotional delivery system. He is the person that delivers you the euphoria from the win. So sometimes we have an over emotional reaction to our teams losing and being inept because the coach is the delivery system to what we want to feel when the clock goes zero. I get that. And that sometimes pulls away from their humanity. So I want to recognize these people as people. Having said that, if you have watched UCLA for the last 3 games, you'd have to ask questions about whether or not he knew what he was doing. Now, this is the way I look at it. I need to see something, right? If we don't have it on offense, the play calling is bad, you can change it, right? If we don't have it on defense and we have a smallish, undersized defensive line, you can get different kids in. But I need to see precision. I need to see teams playing hard. I need to see them playing on fire. And I need to see them playing unafraid. I cannot say that I saw that with UCLA. Virginia Tech, I actually saw them put together a game against South Carolina where I thought, Lenore Sellers and the rest of this team, they have so much talent. And I watched Virginia Tech make mistakes that cost them that game. But I watched them play that game really, really hard and continue to compete at a high level. I just have not seen that from UCLA. Haven't seen it at all. No type of identity, no type of snap, nothing, no reason to be inspired to believe that they could be better. So the question there is, do you fire him sooner rather than later? And with the way that the national media has been keen on them because of Nico, it's just been embarrassing, and I could see them making a move. I don't think I have a problem with it.
But he's a legend. That's the hard part with Deshaun Foster. It's like now you taint the whole legacy of him as a player at UCLA. That's really tough. Joel, your thoughts on this? Obviously, just 3 weeks into the season.
Yeah, that beautiful number 26, man. Yeah, I mean the thing, the Van. So I didn't have had a chance to see this game, but you lose
getting the
like
logo
that
back. Yeah, 1 second.
Oh, there
no,
we go.
Go for it.
No,
I got to do it, man. If anybody can help us figure out how to keep the logo up there, this could be a running bit, but we're not doing this for no comedy. So if you guys can help us, let us know.
Maybe we should get an actual poster board.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But I mean, they lost to Old Dominion, man, and Old Dominion kicked their ass. So that clearly was as bad to Virginia Tech.
And lost to them in his first game, by the way. So he lost to Old Dominion like to start and lost to Old Dominion to close, which I don't think we've ever seen a book if beginning and end like that.
Yeah, you just can't. That just couldn't go on. But the question you asked is it fair? Well, I mean, as long as you pay them, right? But the bigger issue for me, what are you telling the players about the season? Like they know now that the administration and athletic department have basically punted on the season, right? And so what are these kids supposed to do? Like, I mean, they have right now, when their coaches get fired, they have a month now. The transfer portal window is open for them.
And they can redshirt because they only played 3 games, right?
And they can redshirt right now, man. What kind of a situation? So you're asking those kids to make a decision about their future right now. And the ones that stay, I mean, what is that going to look like for those guys in UCLA? Like UCLA, if they kept everybody on their roster right now, they still probably wouldn't be favored in any more games this season. Right. But they're going to definitely lose some people. And again, Nico, for instance, and we talked about it last show. Like if I'm Nico, I might be like, why would I put more on tape? Yeah. Why would I put more on tape for this program right now?
Oh, like, you would stop. You wouldn't play anymore right now.
Yeah, you would. So you don't even think he should come out next week? You think he should be like,
no, I'm asking you that. No, I think he should play the rest of the season out.
Oh, really?
But then he loses a year.
Well, I think the thing is Nico
he's a
already
redshirt sophomore. So like it's really about eligibility. If he can play one more game and keep his year and redshirt, but if he plays more than 4 games, he loses the year.
I mean, yeah, man, you're asking him because the thing is that Nico is going to be judged unfairly now. Like now he's in the spotlight, so people are they're inclined to believe that he's selfish and not a team guy. And so if he steps out, people might try to hold that against him. But if he goes out there and gets beat up and looks bad, they're going to hold that against him too, right?
It's a tough situation.
It's a tough situation, man. And I feel bad for him and all those other kids that are going to have to be stuck around. I guess my thought is that usually, man, I mean, the thing is that Deshaun Foster and Brent Pry had put those schools in situations to where they're looking at that and they're like, it's not going to get better. It's going to look ugly. But I just don't know how firing them makes it better either.
Yeah, it feels like an end of the year move, but maybe you save these kids a season, right, Van? Maybe that's
if I'm Nico, I'm playing. If I'm Nico, I'm playing, and let me tell you why. The first thing I want to show anyone in anything that I'm doing at any point is that I'm there. I'm here. I could show up to the podcast, fuck the podcast up, but I'm podcasting. I'm there. I'm present. I'm doing the thing, right? Nico, there's so many other things people are saying about you. So many other things. And honestly, some of them you did it to yourself. I'll just be honest with you. You and your dad. But at some point, people have to believe in Nico as a football player, as a leader. And to me, he's going to have to show that on the field. And this is an opportunity for him, in my opinion, to show on the field that he is a football player and a leader. If he's going to leave and go to another place and go to, if he's going to leave and go to the NFL, at a certain point, some NFL GM or coach is going to have to believe that they can put their entire job on Nico's success. They're going to have to believe in him that way. And he is just not giving people very much reason to believe in that. I personally think that sticking this out, it's what I would do. Now, I can't say, look, I can't. It's what I would do. It's what I would do. I wouldn't look for reasons to not play after I turned a good situation in Tennessee into some bullshit. He did this to himself. Ooh. So I would play. I understand, though, if he doesn't play. Because everything is so cynical and so calculated, and it's about more than the game. I get that. I would understand if he didn't play. I would play. I think it would mean a lot to people to see Nico stick this out and go try to get a couple of wins for UCLA.
They say a lot of things about Nico, but they don't call him sorry. And if he keeps playing behind that situation right there, they might start to call him sorry. Also, he might get hurt. Like, right, they have nothing else going on. Like, he's like the leading rushing threat. If Nico was my son, I'd be like, I'm sorry about trying to leverage Tennessee. That was a mistake. I won't do that again. We're gonna hire a real agent this time, and we're gonna handle your business the right way. But also, son, sometimes you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, dog. Know when to walk away. And right now, this is one of them times,
Yeah, I mean, he can transfer, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so he can go into the transfer portal during the season. So if UCLA isn't the place for him, then transfer someplace. I don't know if he's going to transfer any player and then become eligible to play. I don't know how that works. But if he's going to leave, he should leave. But if he's going to stay, he should play.
He can't play this year for anybody else if he transfers. But if I'm him, I maybe call California. I call Brian Harsin, the OC there, and I say, look, JKS is about to get poached by Oklahoma, Texas. Who knows? Like, what team's going to go after him? We'll be up there with the Bears next year if you guys need us. LSU, whoever it is. But I think that might be the move. We'll see what happens. It is a tough situation. But I like the loyalty play there, Van. Everyone's saying that he leaves. They make the jokes like, Nico, I'm a leaving. If he shows some loyalty and stays, maybe that helps change the narrative a little bit. But again, like you said, Joel, you don't want to get hurt behind that offensive line. So quite the conundrum for the players now. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to do biggest games of week 4 and our overreaction of the week. We'll be right back after the break. Ringer Tailgate is brought to you by FanDuel. Ready to fire up your Saturdays? FanDuel's got a boost you do not want to miss. It's called Boosting with the Boys, and it's giving everyone a college football profit boost every single week. There's a lot of games on the board this weekend, and I like the over in the Auburn-Oklahoma game. Jackson Arnold, John Montier. I think there's going to be a lot of points, a lot of fireworks in this one. So go for that. And here's how it all works. Each week, we're giving everyone a profit boost to use on college football. No opt-in gymnastics, no invite-only nonsense. Everyone gets the boost. We're talking real games, real teams, real Saturdays with an extra payout on the line. It's easy, it's fun, and it's only on FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/tailgate to download the app. Check out the Boostin' with the Boys offer and get in on all the action now. Must be 21 or older and present in select states, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. All right, we're back. Overreaction of the week. Obviously, a lot of reactions out there in the world of college football. We love them all. And shout out to everybody that loves this game and loves their team and stays in it, because it's not always the easiest thing to do, especially when you're the head coach. But usually after a win, you can hold it together. But this week, Brian Kelly said, even if I won the game, I will lose the press conference. He goes into this press conference, gets asked a question about his offensive struggles by Michael Cobble of WBRZ. Shout out to Michael Cobble. Fair question. He's a man who obviously loves LSU football and wants to see the best version of it. And he asked Brian Kelly about the fact they could only put up 20 points despite having 5 interceptions thrown their way. He goes with, stop. Really? Is that the first question? Try another question. And then he slowly just starts working through it. He was like, we played to win the game. LSU won the football game. And then he proceeds to ask Michael Cobble and the rest of LSU fans, what do you want from me? And they had a simple answer, which is LSU football. Van, I'll go to you first here. Overreaction of the week. Do you think it's fair for Kelly to react this way? And your thoughts on what you saw?
No, it's not fair. He did apologize. We should say that.
He did on Monday, right? So Michael Cobble directly said he texted him and everything, right?
The first thing he did was apologize. So bigger coach to apologize. It's important to be able to realize when you were wrong. And he was wrong, all right? Because the first thing, and I'm an LSU fan, in touch and in league with the other LSU fans, the first thing that everyone was thinking after that game is, what's wrong with the offense? So Michael Cobble was doing his job. His job is to ask questions that the LSU culture and fan base might be thinking after a performance. They're not always going to be flattering questions. That's not what Brian Kelly is getting paid $100 million to do, to have the press kiss his ass. That's not what he's getting paid to do. He's getting paid to coach LSU football and to communicate LSU football to the media, national and local. He failed in doing that in that press conference. Not only did he fail in his response to that question, but if you watch the entire press conference after that, he went on to grade each question and talk about whether or not the question was appropriate or
Or valid.
inappropriate. I like
Yeah.
that question. I like that question. That's a good question. Now, perhaps maybe he was doing that, some small sense of shame after the way he handled himself, knowing that he had embarrassed himself by his reaction to the first question. But this is a problem in overall society. He doesn't get to manicure what he's asked. He doesn't get to decide. If the questions are about football and not about his personal life and not about who his kids are dating or how much money he's spending on blackjack, if it's not about any of that, if it's about the football game, then he doesn't get to decide which questions are right and wrong to ask. LSU won. They covered all of that. What's wrong with the offense? What's wrong with the offense? Why can we still not run the football? Why, despite adding Barry Brown and Nick Anderson and all of these other guys, why do we have no separation and explosion? Like, what's going on? Those are questions that we want the answer to because we're not going to be able to rely on the other quarterback throwing us the ball 5 times in every single game. So rather than attack people who are asking, should I say, pertinent questions, why don't you just say, you know what, right now we're going to concentrate on this victory. We're going to concentrate and congratulate the players in the locker room. And then Monday, we're going to talk about what we need to do to address our offensive struggles and woes and give a better performance next week. But he answered it like a fucking asshole is what he did. And so he's got to be better than that. He has to because everybody's watching Brian Kelly. We want some results.
Joel, overreaction for Brian Kelly.
So I think you all know I identify as a journalist. Like that is like, my training. That is what I've been studying to do my whole life. And I've been a professional journalist forever.
What is that, a they, them?
What? Oh, are you being toxic? Are you being toxic, man?
You said you identify as a journalist, so I'm like, what's the pronoun? I'm asking, like, what's the journalist? Like, I was just, go ahead. My bad. That was too much. That was too much. That was Austin Mothership. That was too far. I don't want to be that. I'm against that.
I'm trying to leave the politics out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Get back to Skeeton. Go back to what you were saying.
Skeeton, yeah. But, I mean, people love to beat up on journalists, right? And like that is like a time-honored tradition from anybody who's ever been in front of a microphone and at a podium. Like that is the fundamental function. Like especially now, like there's nobody. Very rarely do people feel sorry for journalists, right? In any circumstance, unless they like work for Al Jazeera in Gaza or something like that. But for the most part, most people do not like look at us as sympathetic figures. And so I was torn because I was like, man, I hate when people do that, but I also know sort of the rhythm of a post-game press conference. The coach usually is expecting, all right, coach, well, you won a hard-fought game tonight. How do you feel coming out of this or whatever? Or, is nuts hurt? They usually don't expect a negative question at the start the press conference. And so that probably threw him. And that's not an excuse for how he responded because it was wrong. But I think that is part of the dance here. And the other part of it, too, is that,
and at Notre Dame, he probably gets a question like, you guys had 5 interceptions tonight. How impressed are you with the defense, all that sort of stuff? But like, this is LSU. This is the SEC. Like there's a standard that might be a little, it's just a little, culturally, it's a little bit different, right? That's what I think he was shocked by.
But see, this is also what I was like, don't you all think maybe he was being a little performative? Sometimes coaches use the media to make a point or to pass the message to their team, right? And it's like, I'm defending you guys. Like right now, I went out there and I defended you in front of people when you played like shit, okay? Yeah. I got your back. Like that's his way of saying, maybe his way of doing that. And he found an opportunity to seize on it. In addition to answering a question that he did not necessarily want to answer. And he's like, okay, well, if you're going to give me this moment, let me lean into it a little bit.
And he's done that before, slamming the table against USC last year. Like Brian Kelly has, he has used the press conference to his, advantage before. That's classic. Classic Brian Kelly. But yeah, I think it was definitely...
For me to say something? That was horseshit.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's your boy. These are your boys. What I'm saying?
It was horseshit then and it's horseshit now. Come out, answer the questions, fix the offense, or at least tell us, see, this is the problem. The offense is struggling. We can't score, okay? Tell us why. Tell us what you're seeing. Hey,
Mhm.
or say, you know what, Joel, to Joel's point, what Joel just said, yeah, stick up for your team. Talk about what your guys did right. But just say right now, I'm going to let these guys celebrate this win, and we're going to look at the film and then come back. Because another thing about these post-game press conferences is he does have to look at the all 22 to be able to see which assignments were missed, what Garrett saw, mistakes that he made, reads that he left on the field, all of that stuff. So he has to actually do some forensic accounting of the game and to be able to give a good answer to that question. But what you can't do is attack the journalist for asking, because if you do that, it looks like you're attacking the fan base, in my opinion, for being curious as to why we can't run the ball or throw the ball effectively when we should be able to.
It's just funny because if I'm Brian Kelly, I'm one of the richest people in Louisiana, first of all, right? But also, it's like, man, I can't do nothing right. First of all, I win a game against Florida.
Even when I win, I lose.
Yeah, undefeated, and I beat Florida. And then it's like, I went after the media. I thought y'all liked that. He probably is like, when has anybody ever gotten yelled at for yelling at a person in the media, right? Like, it just doesn't happen. He's like, man, y'all really hate me. Like, if I'm Brian Kelly, I'm just like, man, I can't do nothing to make y'all like me, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look.
It all started with that fake accent at the basketball game.
It's just funny to me. He's just like, he's trying. He's like, man, what can I do to make people like me? And it never works.
I like the fake accent. I liked it.
I like that he tried.
And my family.
I like the fake accent because it's like, to me, it was like the Steve Buscemi "Hello, fellow kids" meme.
Yes.
He's just trying to be one of y'all. I was like, come on, man, you ain't gotta do that. I used to do that to people though. People used to like, there was some white boys that used to come to Gardia and stuff like that. They wanted to hang out, and they come out and hang out with us, and they would say stuff. They would be like, yeah, man, after we get this po' boy from Rainbow, we can go see what's up. And I'll be like, hey, dog, you ain't got to do that, man. You know what I'm saying? You over here because you got the PlayStation.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you got the PlayStation. So just as long as you bring the PlayStation, we could do that. Just, you ain't got to do all that, man. Just chill, bro. Let's talk about golf.
Plus, we're all people from the South, and like people that are hamming it up. People that are trying to like do the accent. You know what I mean? Like it's an act. Like when you see a show, you see a movie, you can tell someone like Parker Posey is like she's not she can do the accent. She's from what I mean. I don't know. You can tell when people are putting it on.
Yeah.
So
it's just uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, it's like when you hear like Karl Anthony Towns try to code switch, and I like Karl Anthony Towns. Like I feel like people are unfair to him.
Wait a second, Joe.
Well,
wait a second. We going back to Austin now. Like we about to go. What you about to say about Karl Anthony Towns? He code switches from what to what? We about to be going back to the Austin
it's just kind of the way he talks. You've seen the other dudes be like, man, sometimes he has his little,
has his little what, Joe?
His little, it's just a little voice, Joe, I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
To get kicked off Blue Sky because they gonna kick you off.
They gonna find you.
If you say what you just
you
say,
nobody. You told us about Skeeton.
I'm already tweeting more. I'm already back on Twitter because y'all refuse to come over there and join me. I'm already having to do more on Twitter and let people say the worst things in the world over there.
Oh,
but no, man. I mean, you know what I mean. Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, just a little, and so whenever I see people do, because I'm always like, man, am I doing that? Like when I go someplace, I got recorded. For people who don't know, I did a podcast about Clarence Thomas. The first part,
fantastic, by the way.
Thank you, brother.
Slow burn, great.
Slow burn. Hey, somebody just said something about that. But I go into Clarence Thomas's mama house. And I'd forgot. Like I just, the people, thank God for my producer, Derek John, who listened to all that tape and was like, oh man, we need to get some of this stuff at the front of the episode. But then people were like, yo, bro, you sound like Nick Saban on a recruiting visit. Like the way I was talking to people. Because I was like, oh, Mr. Such and such. But I was like, yo, like I got comfortable, and I started talking the way that I talk when I'm back home. And so I'm just wondering, maybe Brian Kelly, he was just trying, man. He was trying, like Vince said, man, was trying to relate to people. And people were like, man, stop
the
that.
Yes ma'ams, the no sirs, the mumbling, Joe? It all happens. Yeah.
Where's home for Karl Anthony Towns? Where's home for him?
Dominican, right?
New York is in New York, right?
Yeah.
What?
It's so Austin Mothership. Okay, Austin that era is over. We're not doing that no more. We're not being toxic. We regular again.
I'm trying. I was trying to be fair to the young man.
Hey, let's do biggest games of week 4. Let's be fair to these teams. We got 4 huge games for week 4. We got Florida at number 4 Miami. That's college game day. That's a good one. We got number 17 Texas Tech at number 16 Utah, number 22 Auburn at number 11 Oklahoma, number 9 Illinois, and number 19 Indiana. I give you those 4 games, Joel. Which one are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about Tech at Utah. Y'all know I'm a Big 12 guy. You know, I'm a Big 12 guy. And like the thing about Texas Tech, I always just joke. Like if you just rolled their helmets out onto a field 12 times a year, they would go 8-4. Like that is just Texas Tech, thing. But they spent all this money in the past year. Like we're going to find out if Texas Tech can buy themselves into playoff contention. And I think for people that don't know, anybody who's been following college football knows that the Tech booster, Cody Campbell, he's a former Tech QB, he's an oil and gas billionaire, he's homie of Trump, and a chairman of the Tech Board of Regents. And they've raised I think he said something like $63.3 million over the past few years in NIL, and they've opened like a $250 million football center. So they're throwing all this money into the program, and they brought in all these dudes. They brought in David Bailey from Stanford, Romello Height from Georgia Tech. They revamped their whole secondary. They just spent all this money on this season, this team, and I'm like, I just want to see if that money is going to pay off now. You know what I mean? Like this is it's like if Ohio State, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like if Ohio State was a little broker. You know what I mean? If they were just like, well, it's like a mid-major version of Ohio State spending all this money on all this talent and seeing what it's going to get them. And, like they got to go to Utah, playing at Salt Lake City. It's not easy. Utah has one of my favorite players, Devin Dampier. I remember watching him last year, Pac-12 after dark. It was like New Mexico versus Washington State. And that was a game that had
shout out
low-key like playoff implications because Washington State was still kind of in the mix.
Yeah, their only loss was Boise at that time last year.
Yeah, and like Devin Dampier, I was like, no, this dude's cold. Oh, he was real nice. And since he's been at Utah, he showed out. So,
and Wayshawn Parker, the Wazoo running back, is his running back now.
That's right.
Funny enough, a little connective tissue there.
Absolutely.
You know something about what you're talking about Texas Tech, Joe? This is one of the central questions in college football right now. A lot of the teams in college football that are blue bloods or successful programs, not even blue bloods, even successful programs like Boise State. If you look at Boise State or other programs like that, there's something that they've built on over the course of years or decades, which we say is culture, but there's also tradition and there's also history. You know what is expected of you if you are a Boise State athlete. You know what's expected of the program. It's cemented. There's a foundation there. And a question about contemporary college football is whether or not you can buy that. Whether or not that can be bought. Because if it can be bought, if you can buy that competitive identity that gets kids to come to your school and then you win, then Texas Tech is going to be a player because they got money. And there's a lot of schools out there that have a lot of money. The question is, does Ohio State, does the Buckeye mean something? Does the Michigan helmet mean anything? Does Death Valley at night mean anything? Do those things that have been built up over decades in college football, ballyhooed throughout time in college football, can you just outspend those things? And we'll see if you can. A&M, a couple of years ago, tried, and it didn't work, right? Now, it might have been because those guys weren't coached right, because of how that goes, but we'll see. But Texas A&M, to your point, is really fascinating how they've doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on what they're going to do in football right now. And it's an interesting case study in college football to see if they're successful with it.
Yeah, and the first gets hated, the second gets celebrated. Jimbo got hated on. He had the Nick Saban back and forth, and now it's like, that's the way to win. Like, of course you have to do that. So, there's just kind of the way things have changed, even from 2022 to now 2025. Of those 4 games, Van, which one are you most excited to watch?
I want to see Auburn, Oklahoma. It's such a big game for Auburn. Auburn has shown signs of life this year. You've seen Auburn. You've seen Jackson Arnold be a good QB, be able to be the type of difference maker at quarterback that people thought they would be when he showed up at Oklahoma. Him revisiting his old squad, going back there, homecoming.
The Jackson Arnold Bowl.
I want to see how that game shakes out because it's a sneaky important game in the SEC. Is Auburn back from the dead? Is Oklahoma for real? Who is able to get the upper hand there? How does that work? If Auburn wins this game, the more they win, the more that Iron Bowl starts looking really, really, really interesting. So, we'll see how Hugh Freeze has these guys coming out to play. It's also a big game for Hugh Freeze and Brent Venables as well. All of the games are going to be big for these guys. So, I'm really interested in that one.
Both fan bases are worried to believe, right? Like they're both sitting on the edge of their seat. Like, can we actually get excited about these teams? Hugh Freeze started 3-0 2 years ago. They finished 6-7. So Auburn fans have seen the show before. Oklahoma, they've kind of been 1 foot out the door on Venables. So that is a fascinating game. 2 good quarterbacks. I think Indiana, Illinois will be a really good game as well. And I just think that, the Big Ten. I said that Illinois was going to be the Indiana of this season. To be the team, you got to beat the team. So maybe this is their moment to let people know, hey, even though they're number 9 in the country already, Luke Altmaier, Brett Bielema, they got a good squad. So that'll be a fun game. Favorite other matchup, Van, that's on the board? We got some really good games this weekend. Is there a favorite other matchup outside of those 4?
Michigan, Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Michigan, Nebraska. Bryce Underwood, seeing what he can do. Dylan Raiola, seeing what he can do other than cosplay. I'm interested to see what happens.
It's not Halloween yet. Come on, Dylan.
It's Halloween every Saturday for Dylan Raiola. Okay. All right. It's Halloween every Saturday for Dylan Raiola. Every single fucking Saturday. All right. So we'll see whether or not, because honestly, right now, Mahomes might not be the guy that you want to cosplay. You cosplay yourself right into 0-2. But I'm saying it might not be the guy, right? That you want to.
That's right. Yeah.
You know what
Sometimes
I mean?
your heroes that let you down, like Michael Jordan on the Wizards for me. You know what I mean? I was like, wait a second, what's going on here? Like,
well, it definitely looked like it definitely don't look like they on that old school Nebraska strength and conditioning program. I when Dylan Raiola kind of came out, jumped, I was like, man, he don't look athletic at all. I don't know. So he's taking his cosplay a little far. I'm not trying to hate on the young man, but I was just kind of like, bro, what did you do There's
also a younger Raiola, by the way. There's like another one that's coming up. That also
Jackson Raiola?
I think he does TikTok.
Younger Dylan Raiola. I'm telling you right now. Younger Raiola. Don't cosplay Jackson Mahomes. All right? Stay away from that.
Stay away from it.
Like, don't cosplay Jackson Mahomes. We have to have a conversation pretty soon about the younger brothers of quarterbacks because it's some issues out there. Really,
Jordan
Eli
Rodgers,
deserves
Aaron
a lot
Rodgers.
of credit.
Yeah.
Marcus Vick.
Man. Marcus Vick.
Marcus Vick with the style seen around the world.
I got to do it. I'm sure Marcus Vick is somewhere right now living his life like, why are these motherfuckers doing this to me? I'm working with kids. Bruh, there's one of the funniest videos we ever got at TMZ. I got to do this real quick. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
One of the funniest videos we ever got at TMZ was, I can't remember what the circumstance was, but Marcus Vick was at a gym of some sort. And the cops were called for Marcus Vick, or maybe they were executing a warrant or something for Marcus Vick. And you see it on the police's body camera. Marcus Vick is there, and he's confronted by the cops, and then he takes off.
Fast.
And I think the cop thought that he was chasing like a normal person. But it was funny because on the cop's body cam, you see Marcus Vick take off, and then as you watch it, there is no more Marcus Vick. He is gone. And this police officer is like, yo, man, what the hell is going on? And then
it's the super bad. He's the fastest kid alive.
He is out.
Hilarious.
He is gone. And we watch this, and it's not funny because obviously the brother was going through something. But eventually, Marcus just ran so far, I guess the better parts of his brain got to him, and he just stopped and sat on the curb and waited for the police and surrendered himself. But boom, he took off.
Damn.
And we were looking at the video, and it's obvious this cop didn't know who it was, or he would have followed him in a goddamn police car and still might
get back in the car, got on the bike.
He's like, yeah, man, I'm coming back.
Marcus Vick was good, by the way. Like I remember that game vividly.
Yeah,
like they were interviewing Michael at that game in the crowd when he did the stomp. Like they were like just talking to Michael Vick in the crowd, and then that was like a crazy, vivid moment. I remember. Joel, of the other games that are out there, what are you most excited about?
Well, as you all know, I identify as a Horned Frog. Okay,
That's
so
right.
SMU plays TCU this week. I'm an alum, a member of the board of visitors at the Schieffer School. I bled for my school. Now I was on the scout team, but I still bled. It was my own blood. This is the 104th edition of the battle for the Iron Skillet, and this is.
I love this rivalry, by the way.
Yeah,
it's a fierce rivalry, like Fort Worth versus Dallas. Like there's a lot of beef there. Yeah.
Beef, mm-hmm. Cowtown.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All right,
yeah, there you go.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. Our hand sign. That's it. That's the hand sign. So this is for the foreseeable future. This is the last time we're gonna play this game, and maybe TCU's administrators will reconsider. They've talked about maybe playing them again or whatever, and it's like whatever. Who cares? Once upon a time in my life, I thought we were past SMU. I was like, we don't need SMU no more. I mean, we're better than that. We're in the Big 12, whatever. And I just want to quickly take you back. I'm sure I've told this story before. Last year, I was holding my week-old baby girl for her nap, and I was watching TCU versus SMU, and I got shocked. Like, I was just like, we can't stop them. Also, we're bad. They beat us 66-42 last year. And TCU had 5 turnovers. They gave the whole DJ Lagway. We had 14 penalties. We couldn't stop them from running on us. And I didn't realize at the time that SMU was going to be good and they were going to end up playing in the playoffs or whatever. But I was just like, oh, what a shocking indictment of our program that Sonny Dykes left SMU, came over to TCU, and now SMU is better than us. Like, how did, what the hell happened here? So this is what I'm watching this game personally. I don't care about y'all. I want to know, where's TCU at? Right.
Right.
Are we back? Like, as like, did the UNC game actually mean anything?
Yeah, shocking indictment on UNC, maybe. And maybe that's a telltale sign that you may be going to the playoff this year.
Yeah, right. I was like,
that.
For TCU to be what I would like for us to be, we have to beat SMU. And, we'll see. I mean, SMU's bringing back a lot of guys, that Kevin Jennings kid, whatever. But like, if you want to be in the playoffs, Kevin Jennings shouldn't scare you. Like, you should be able to put the clamps on that kid. So
they were down 10-0 to Missouri State last weekend. So I think that's encouraging for TCU. And TCU, from what I saw, Jordan Dwyer, I'll never forget the name. I'll never forget the game.
Don and Jordan, man. That's
stud.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Kavorian Barnes is hurt though, man. He's questionable for this game. My little running back, man. So that's kind of
questionable's not out though. You know what I mean?
That's right. But I mean, yeah.
I like questionable. Questionable.
I hope he's okay.
I love probable, but questionable is okay.
It's better than doubtful.
That's right. I'm going to take Tulane. I'm going to ride the wave at number 13, Ole Miss. Winner gets the Florida job. Lane Kiffin, John Summerall. Like both these coaches. I really am impressed with Tulane. They lost so much talent. They just got poached by all these different teams. They had their quarterback bought by Duke. They didn't beat their quarterback this past weekend. Thought that was great. So a big fan of both these coaches. Lane is a character in and of himself. He's got like the ref shooting basketballs through his arms on the sideline. So all good stuff. Should be a fun one. Ole Miss, hopefully Simmons will be back and be healthy. I think that's really the big note for this game. But I don't know if Tulane can get the win at Ole Miss. But again, I think it should be a fun game to watch, an enjoyable game to watch. So those are our 3 other games. Some other notable games that are on the board. South Carolina, Missouri. Hopefully Sellers will be back. Had a concussion. They're expecting him to play.
It's a big story.
It's a big story. We need Sellers to be back. Michigan State at number 25 USC, their first matchup. Arizona State at Baylor. Arkansas at Memphis. Syracuse at Clemson. We'll see where Clemson actually stands against the number 1 passing quarterback by yards in the country, by the way, at Syracuse. People don't know this. I mean, we mentioned the quarterback.
They found somebody to replace Kyle McCord, huh? Okay.
There you go. UNC at UCF. Scott Frost versus Bill Belichick. That'll be a fun one. And then Oregon State, Oregon, which should be a bloody beatdown.
Play for Oregon State. They're going to need it.
It's a rivalry game, though. It's a rivalry game. Last thing before we get out of here, big Van on campus. Van, what's on your mind? I turn it over to you.
So Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia told podcaster Theo Vaughn from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, he's from right there. I think he went to Mandeville or something like that. Maybe he's more from Mandeville. He told Theo Vaughn that if the Commodores beat the Gamecocks, that he would have to go on a date with his mom. Theo Vaughn would have to go on a date with Diego Pavia's mom, and now they're working out the particulars of that. It formed a question in my mind. In my mind, I have a question now. The question is, what about my mom?
As one would do, right?
Man.
Yeah.
What about my mother?
Man.
My mother, Crystal Ellis, a beautiful 69-year-old woman from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A woman who went to LSU, who majored in modern dance, who went on to start her own company. A brilliant woman, right?
Man.
Beautiful woman. A hell of a cook.
Okay.
Which one of you is going to date my mom when LSU wins?
It sounds like an MTV reality show.
I'm telling you guys right now, Diego Pavia, mom, whatever, which one of you? I'm saying my mother's guys that she's liked in the past, Denzel Washington,
Good
Nelly,
classic,
David Copperfield, okay?
I mean,
which one of you guys?
Shocking number
what
three.
A
David Copperfield. You guys want to hear a story? So David Copperfield, the magician, he used to do these primetime nightly specials or whatever, like every once in a while.
He's done some crazy stuff. I mean,
he has. Like he'd go through the Great Wall of China. He'd fly. He done all kinds of stuff.
Statue of Liberty one time.
Statue of Liberty, he made it disappear or whatever. And then David Blaine came along and started doing these crazy feats. David Blaine would be like, I'm not going to eat for 525 days. Watch me waste away live. And then he just completely took David Copperfield out. There's no more Copperfield. But one day, on the one where Copperfield was supposed to fly, he walked out. We were all watching it as a family. He walked out, me, my mom, my sister, my dad. Copperfield walks out on the stage and he puts his hands on his thing like that. Superman, he looks like that. And my mother went, oh my God. And Dad, God rest my dad's soul.
Oh,
Dad was like, I know you ain't talking about that white boy in my house. So what I'm saying is,
that's magic right there, man.
That's magic. That's magic. What I'm saying
looks like Richard Marx. I forgot what David Copperfield looked like, man.
He's a handsome man. What I'm saying is, if LSU wins the national championship, Denzel, David Copperfield, Nelly, despite politics, which one of you guys are gonna take my mom on a date? Because Diego Pavia, I know what he's thinking. We love our mothers. My mom has been through so much. My dad has gone on in now. Who's going to show her a nice night on the town in Baton Rouge? Who's taking my mother to Doe's Eat Place? Who's taking my mother to Mansour's? Who's taking my mother to the Chimes for a nice drink? Okay. Which one of you guys are going to step up to the plate if LSU wins the national championship and take my mom out? Diego Pavia, it was a good idea. Theo Vaughn, take this woman out. Everyone
treat her nice.
Think about who's going to take my mom out.
I got to vote for Copperfield. Is that messed up that I'm pulling for David Copperfield? Like, I kind of like just the magical evening with David. Like, that sounds like a great time, you know?
He might be the only one of those people that are single. Also, I mean, just for
Nelly's
your mother.
Single? Is he still with Ashanti? What's going on with that?
They got married, bro.
Really married. Bro,
good for them.
That's the
Joel,
thing.
are you not checking the shade room? Joel, not Joel. Tate. Are you not checking the shade room?
Hey, the last thing I saw from Nelly, they asked him about Manny Fresh versus Swiss Beats, and he gave the best answer. He was like, he made 400 degrees, man. And it was like so pure that I was like, good answer, Nelly.
Joel, Tate, you getting out the frame.
I'm sorry.
You making your way out the frame, bro. It's good for you, though.
Don't, just for the sake of your mom, don't let it be Nelly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's enough headlines. You all can look them up about what Nelly has been facing the last few years. I feel like you got to disqualify Nelly and get your mom up to date.
Copperfield versus Washington is like a great showdown.
Copperfield versus Denzel. So it's Copperfield or it's Denzel. My mama used to like that song. My mom used to walk around the house going, you can find me in St. Louis. We'd be like, shut that shit up, man. What you doing? Like
the St. Lunatics.
Yeah, she was really down with the St. Lunatics. So, okay, cool.
God. Shout out Murphy
Denzel
Lee.
Or David Copperfield, one of you guys, I know Denzel is married. If LSU wins the national championship, y'all gotta take my mama on a nice date out on the town. And that's my word. That's what I'm saying. I like this from Diego Pavia.
Man, Van came on to the press box. I interviewed Van on the press box, and I asked him this question. You know, we do a lightning round sometimes. And I asked him, I was like, I had an answer in mind that I was expecting Van was going to say. I said, who needs dick in their life? Okay, that was the question. Van goes, my mom, man.
Yeah.
My mom. Yeah. And he wanted like some Jamaican guy. That was at the time you wanted somebody Jamaican for.
See, and we can end on this. I'm not out for you guys that are listening to this right now, college football fans.
Would you accept Jamaica Queens, I guess would be the question. You know?
Anybody from Jamaica Queens, as long as she leaves with her dignity and her purse. So this is what I would say. My mother actually is the one that instilled the love of LSU football in me.
Shout out.
My mom is the one. She went to LSU. We would walk around LSU's campus. She was still involved in LSU. She was the LSU when me and my mother have LSU in common. This is what we do. My dad went to Southern, right? Played ball at Southern. This is the deal. I look at my mom as a person. And when I think of a happy person, a fulfilled person, I think of a fulfilled person mentally, emotionally, and yes, romantically. So I want it all for my mother. Okay? And I want it all
three
for her.
phases.
I want her to be all three phases, just like in offense, defense, special teams. And
the Beamer ball, baby.
Special teams is important.
Wait, what did you say, beaver or beamer ball?
Whoa, now we're going too far. It's my mom. Now we're
I didn't know
going
what
too
you
far,
meant.
Joe.
I thought
That's my mom. We can't talk about beaver.
I didn't hear
beaver
beamer.
ball
Okay,
with my
all
mom,
right,
Joe.
bad.
We can't do that. That's Joe, that was disrespectful to you.
Sorry.
As a black man,
Miss
you know you're not
Ellis.
supposed to talk about somebody's mom.
Sorry, Miss Ellis.
Oh, I love it. I love it. David Copperfield, Denzel Washington, LSU to win the national championship, as predicted by Lee Corso. People forget that happened. So
Lee
it's
Corso
moving in the right
around.
direction.
I'm okay with
there
that.
you go. Lee Corso. Yeah,
Seems
that'd
like
be
a nice
fun.
guy.
Puts the headgear on. Yeah, that'd
For
be
what?
great. Just for the date, maybe like a little bit of a show, you know?
Y'all freaks. All right, go ahead. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey, man.
That first stuff making the news now. It's been in the news. I don't know if y'all been paying attention.
I think Josh Hoover is a furry. Your quarterback at TCU. Yeah, that's his thing. Yeah, it all comes back to college
Whatever
football.
it takes to keep him happy, man.
Hey, exactly. It's all three phases of life, all three phases of the game. We appreciate everybody tuning in to Ring Your Tailgate. It's been a fun show. We love the Wednesday edition, but of course, we will be back live on Saturdays. Come hang out with us. We're going to have a good time. As always, this is Ring Your Tailgate, and we will see you on Saturday. Must be 21 or older and present in select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 and older and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.